Today we're talking about the April 16th, 2024 Olympia City Council meeting. It was a meeting of first-timers, last-timers, and there was a little bit of whimsy thrown in there as well. This is Council in 10. For the record, I'm Kelly Purse-Brossett.
And I'm Susan Grisham.
If this is your first time joining us for Council in 10, this is our attempt to recap for you everything that happened at the council meeting the night before in under 10 minutes.
So think of it as kind of the Cliff's Notes for the council meeting.
As you can see, we're getting comfortable in our seats and in our set.
Kind of moving in,
making it feel like our own. With that, let's get started. Susan, you want to hit that button?
We began the meeting with roll call. Mayor Pro Tem Huen was excused. And then we kind of moved right on into special recognition. And it was Veteran Suicide Prevention Vehicle emblems. Kelly.
Right. So we had our Fleet Operations Supervisor out of Public Works, Jaime Mustachi, who came and told the council about the city's partnership with the Department of Veterans Affairs to raise awareness around veteran suicide prevention. And what we're doing is we're joining with the Veterans Affairs Department to put emblems on all the fleet vehicles in the city, 988 emblems that remind people and raise awareness around veteran suicide and preventing veteran suicide. We are the first city to actually do this, and we're throw down a little challenge to our fellow jurisdictions. The Department of Veterans Affairs is happy to work with you, and we can raise awareness for this. You know, my brothers are veterans, my cousins are veterans, and it's a good cause.
Yeah, we also have some council members who are veterans as well.
Absolutely. So our mayor and Councilmember Cooper.
Yeah. From then we moved on to a proclamation recognizing Olympia Bicycle Month. This is something we do each year. Councilmember Vanderpool read the proclamation. Program specialist Kristen Gilkerson and Intercity Transit Bicycle Community Challenge Coordinator, mouthful, Duncan Green, shared information regarding the 27th Annual Thurston County Bicycle Community Challenge. We know that bicycling is an important way for people to get exercise and to experience outdoors. And when people ride their bikes instead of driving their cars, it helps our environment, it reduces greenhouse gas emissions. And there was a friendly challenge between council members to participate this year. Councilmember Gilman noted that in years past, he has competed on behalf of Intercity Transit. This year, he's going to switch teams to the city of Olympia. So it'll be interesting to see how that...
Throwing down the gauntlet to IT. This year, we're going to beat you.
Yeah. And this was, you know, a meeting of challenges. You know, we were kind of...
Absolutely. Whimsy and challenges.
Yes. And then after that, we did a special recognition proclamation recognizing National Community Development Month. Councilmember Madrone read that proclamation, and our Community Block Grant Program Manager Anastasia Everett shared information regarding our program and its impact on the community. Anna noted that Olympia has received these funds since 1982, and during those 42 years, the city has received $15.48 million in funding, and that funding goes to supporting housing rehabilitation, public services, economic development, public facility improvements, and more in our community. Unfortunately, there is a cut to that funding proposed for the 2025 federal budget currently, and we have asked our federal legislators to consider increasing that funding because it really is critical to helping support housing in our community.
Yeah, it's about a 50-year-old program. I think this is the 50th anniversary of the CDBG program, and it's done a lot of good in our community.
It sure has.
So next we had public comment. We had about 6 speakers, a lot of them from the local VFW. It was good to have them in the house. Seeking some help. The council and staff are working with them around helping make sure that the area around their hall, their post, I think it's called, is safe for them. And then we also got a nice shout out from the Community Foundation of South Puget Sound. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Then we moved on to the consent calendar. There was one item pulled for separate action, and that was the second reading of the ordinance amending Olympia Code related to additional renter protections. Last week when it passed on first reading, there was a definition of family that needed to be clarified a little bit, and so council was able to do that. Initially, they had adoptees in the list of family members, and really adoptees are no different than any other family member, and so that was just clarified, and they moved to approve that on second reading, so those renter protections are now approved, and I believe will be instated in 30 days.
30 days from adoption and publication, and it's nice to know that your kids are your kids no matter how they come into your life. So that was a good thing to do.
Yeah, and then we moved on to other business. The first item was approval of the Grass Lake Nature Park Public Art Concept Design. So our Arts Program and Planning Supervisor Stephanie Johnson gave an overview of this project, and then the artist Gabe Singer discussed the design of the art piece. And this repurposes a large steel tank to about 3 sculptural elements, including a bird blind, which I didn't know what those were, but apparently it allows you to view birds without them seeing you. Kind of cool. And then 2 other elements at the park entryways. And the artist shared a mock-up of the art and went into detail about the type of welding used for fabrication, which I think tickled everyone.
Right. Yeah, it was very specific about what kind of welding was going to go in. It was kind of cool. So, but it was that's a little bit of our whimsy for the meeting, because there was a lot of mushrooms and big gigantic bug things, and it's going to be a really cool experience once the art is done for folks to come in and sort of walk through these welded mushrooms from a repurposed still water tank. Yeah. Continuing on our theme of whimsy, we had the council got a briefing on the Olympia parking strategy. Yes, you think of whimsy when you think of the parking strategy, don't you? But our staff member, excuse me, Chelsea Baker Van Drood, who is a parking services program specialist and also a really accomplished animation artist, an illustrator, cartoonist. She did the coolest presentation using her work to explain why we manage parking and why it's important. So it was a pretty cool and interesting presentation, very educational, very accessible. So if parking confuses you, dip into that presentation, because it's a really easy way to kind of get to understand why we have a parking strategy and the need to manage downtown parking in support of the people who live and work and visit there.
And our last other business item was a little less whimsical. It was about the exploration to create a tax audit team. So our tax license analyst, Brandy Andrews, shared an overview of this proposed creation of this team. And the creation of a tax audit team would support an educational component to businesses on how to pay their B&O taxes and how to make it easier to be in compliance, and also create an equitable way for users to access payment systems.
Yeah, it's about fairness. It's not about new taxes. We've had a lot of growth in the last 5 years. I think the business taxpayer base has grown about 30% in the last 5 years in Olympia, and we haven't seen the similar growth with the tax filings. And we think it's just because people always want to do the right thing. I think it's just because they don't know how. So we're putting this team together so that it's easy for people to do what they want to do, which is always the right thing. The other thing about this presentation, as well as the one before around the parking strategy, is we had staff making their very first presentations to council, and they both did fabulous jobs. So it was nice to see.
Yeah. Then we moved on to reports.
Yeah. And among the things, we had our first timers. This is where we acknowledged our last timers. So council and staff got a chance to acknowledge Community Planning and Development Director Leonard Bauer, who is going to be retiring the beginning of May. And he has put in 35 years of public service for the community, the state of Washington, 10 of them here at the city of Olympia. He's a great guy to work with and a great guy to know, and we're going to miss him.
And then the meeting ended at around 9:15.
Right. That was it.
And that was it.
Thank you for joining us. If you're watching us live, you can stay tuned because the council meeting we just talked about is going to follow. Or you can watch it or any of our other programming on demand anytime you want on olytv3.com.
And if you want to come down to City Hall and watch a city council meeting live and in person, we are here most Tuesdays at 6 p.m. We'll save a seat for you.
All right, that's it.
We're adjourned.
We're adjourned. Blah, 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 blah. That's the one to use.